Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. As introduced, I'm Ambassador Jackline Yonga. Most of you must know me by now. At least I've been here for quite a while. I'm the Deputy High Commissioner, and I appreciate very much the diaspora. Your Excellency, the Governor of Kericho Port, Your Excellency, my High Commissioner, Ambassador Lazarus Amayo, the Stanlib Bank, Betty, and the Ukentv, I appreciate, and it is my honor that you had put this together. It's not easy to put up a forum like this where you bring Kenyans together to listen to an investment forum. I'm happy that through the Ukentv and Betty, we are able to congregate here today. As a government and as a mission, the government is trying to sell the agenda of how we can collaborate both at home and in the diaspora. And us being in charge of the UK diaspora, we take the initiative very seriously because developing an institutional framework that is sustainable is not very easy. So I'm very pleased that such initiatives from Felix and James of the Stanlib is one of those vehicles that you can invest in. And I want to echo as well what Betty was saying, that you have to be in groups for you to make an impact. I would encourage you, because as the High Commission, we can't believe it, but only 7,000 are registered with the High Commissioner, and we are sure you are more than 200,000 in the diaspora. How do we make a case? How do we convince those who want to come and talk to us? So please, we'd encourage you so much that it is significant for all of us Kenyans here to try and register with the High Commission. Secondly, the government is creating an enabling environment so that we can work in. You've heard of the diaspora policy, which the government released. It spells out, how many of you have read it? It spells out how the government wants to work with the diaspora. So it's important to acquaint yourself with some of those issues to know that what Stanlib is doing is not out of context, but is complementing the agenda that the president himself is espousing. So it's really significant for us to understand that. We had the diaspora conference in January. There's a diaspora conference coming in December, between 22nd. It's on our website. You can also acquaint yourself with that. Mine today was not to talk about many of those, but just giving an overview, because I am to welcome the High Commissioner, who is coming to give you more about what goes on. But it is my passion, having been the director of the diaspora desk, that whenever I see a forum of diasporians getting together, I'm really passionate and happy that at least the baby that started is walking. And so I'd want you, as the UK diaspora, remittance alone is not enough. Remittance put together, mobilized into a solid resource, can make an impact. And I think this is exactly what Stanlib and many others initiatives are trying to do. So let us ourselves open our eyes. With those few remarks, may I have the pleasure to invite the High Commissioner, Lazarus Amayo, to come and give his remarks.
Thank you very much, Jackline, for those remarks, preceded, of course, by Betty Karanja and Samuel Chieng. Anyway, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, mine this evening will be a very brief one, because we live with you in the UK, but we have guests from Kenya. I think we'd be keen to listen to what James and Felix would be able to tell us, in addition to His Excellency, the Governor of Kericho County. But suffice to add that we are proud of this arrangement that brings Kenyans and friends of Kenya and potential investors to Kenya together. And mine on this occasion is to give reassurance that the government of Kenya attaches great importance to the diaspora and for investments that we can get from outside into our country, because it makes a difference. Your remittances, apart from what you send to individual families, the investments that you make back at home are significant to Kenya, and that is why the government has been keen to mainstream diaspora contributions to national development. In this regard, would like to add that just as we are here, Ambassador Yonga talked of 150,000, 200,000 Kenyans. If I'm permitted to use this other language, naomba, kama Mtanzania atasema nataka, Mtanzania atasema naomba, lakini mwana Kenya kawaida angesema nataka. Lakini naomba ya kwamba tujiunge pamoja ili uchaguzi wa pili ikirudia hapa Uingereza, Mungu akitujalia tuwe pia na wabunge kama wa Nigeria wanao yao, Wahindi wanayo 11, wa Pakistani wako nao 10. Sisi pia tukiungana pamoja, kuna taswishi yoyote ya kwamba tunaweza kupata. Shida ni ya kwamba wengi wenu hawachukui kura na wengi wenu hawaendi kwa polling station kupiga kura pia. Lakini kama High Commission, hiyo sio lengo, hiyo sio kazi yetu, hiyo ni kazi yenu kuhimiza tu ya kwamba ikiwezekana mwanze kufikiria juu ya laini hiyo. For what purpose? As a voter, you have a voice in this country. You influence who represents you, whether it is at the council or in the House of Commons. And when you have representatives in the council or in the House of Commons, you have a voice. Your issues can be articulated. Policies can be made that favor your agenda. And even we as missions would benefit much more from you, because you are part and parcel of the leadership of this particular country. And so in this regard, tunaomba ya kwamba mufikirie hayo, and let's see changes in the future. And pia hata mukiingia hiyo line nyingine, wako na vyama 2, 3, 4 hivi, ipatikana muko ndani hata kama, lakini hiyo tutasema siku nyingine. Mine is to say that Becky has already talked about investment opportunities in Kenya. James will be talking about the same. The governor will be talking about investment opportunities in Kenya, but with particular reference to Kericho County. And the advantage of having James and Felix is that for diaspora and friends of Kenya that we are trying to entice to go to Kenya to invest, this investment company is a credible one. It will be able to guide you and help you to secure investments in portfolio in areas that you require without the losses or being a guinea pig, like Becky had said that she succeeded in some and didn't succeed in others. The government has done reforms to make doing business in Kenya more easy, more friendly. And that is why when we see Stanlib and others coming abroad to engage with you, is something worth commending. And I hope out of this, you'd be able to find an area of interest, whether it is in infrastructure, whether it is in energy, whether it is in manufacturing, or whether it is in agriculture, value addition, and the likes, or in the financials. They'll be able to guide you. Last but not least is to reassure you that there are many good things happening in Kenya. Apart from the few isolated ones you read, there are many good things happening. People are coming to Kenya. We are also going out. Just like we said the other day, you had the Italian Prime Minister coming to meet with our President. Our President later on went to Italy and they signed big deals. The US President was in Kenya also. And as a result, there are many contracts that are ongoing between Kenya and the US. We expect the Pope, His Holiness the Pope, also to go to Kenya next month. And we also expect in December, Kenya to host the next WTO Ministerial Conference, a significant development, particularly on matters of trade facilitation. So many good things are happening in Kenya. And when you find, for example, now that you're sending US shilling, you are pound is fetching more in Kenya, yes, it is a challenge to us, but please, even with the strong dollar rising against other currencies, it is not only the Kenya shilling. If you take time, you'll find that in the African continent, economies that are comparable to Kenya or larger than Kenya have lost more. Their currencies have lost more value than the Kenya shilling. The Kenya shilling lost 19% of its value. All those all other big countries, you know, in sub-Saharan Africa, because in sub-Saharan Africa we are the 5th largest economy. Those 4 ahead of us and those behind us have lost more than ourselves. So mkilia sana kwamba mambo ya Kenya namna gani, ours is 19, others have lost 40%, 38%, 25%. And if you looked at YouTube last night, in spite of the challenges, our economy is expected to grow by 6%. The revision only came from 6.5% to 6%, which is still much higher than the African average of 3.8% projected for this particular year. So we're in a country where there are many good things happening. Security situation has improved. The government has invested heavily. The last 2 years, the last budgets we've got on security and defense, and wananchi have also been involved, so that even on the challenges of terrorism, we realize that is a global challenge, and at national level you involve communities, you involve people, so that you win their hearts and their minds. And we are happy that in this partnership we are with other countries to stem or reduce the challenges of terrorism, for which no country now is immune. All countries, small and big, in Europe, in Africa, have the same challenge. For us, what are we selling? We have the best environment for doing business. We are strategically located in an area where an investor coming to Kenya not only targets the 43 million people, but you look at the larger 140 million in East Africa and the 400 million in COMESA, with the provision that whatever you manufacture within Kenya, you can be able to sell to these larger markets of EAC and COMESA, duty-free and quota-free, and we are a gateway, anyway, to that particular region. This is your narrative, so that if somebody else gives a different story on Kenya, you don't have just to agree with his version, you can also give your version, because what happens in that country called Kenya is good for you, good for me, and we are moving forward under the dynamic leadership of His Excellency President Uhuru Kenyatta, who is much respected in the African and in the region, because they seek Kenya's view. What is Kenya's view on this? What would Kenya say? And so, James, let me not say what you're about to say. Your Excellency, we were acknowledging you in absentia, but now you are here. That is His Excellency Professor Paul Chepkwony, the Governor of Kericho. He'll not take as much time as I've done, because apart from being the Governor of Kericho and a politician, he's also a professor at the university. And they don't believe in telling very long stories, especially after people have eaten and past 9 o'clock. And so with those many remarks, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for attending this session. And I hope out of this gathering, next time we'll be able to have even a much larger one. And I take the opportunity to thank the organizers once again for this wonderful occasion. I thank you and God bless you. Bwana Ochieng.